Hi, this is Connie. Welcome to RedHorse. Scheduling a meeting and sending a meeting request to everyone who is attending the event is easy in RedHorse. It's a very useful tool because the meeting gets automatically added to the calendar of everyone invited to the event in their own independent system. And when they accept your invite, you can see that in your RedHorse on your calendar. We have a separate video for you showing you how to send invites to contacts outside of your database. You can also invite users in your own company and track their responses using RedHorse. Even though scheduling for users in RedHorse already shows on everyone's calendar, sometimes it's helpful to use the meeting request function so that you can be sure everyone is aware of the event by email, and they won't miss the meeting if they didn't look at the calendar in RedHorse. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to send meeting requests to users in RedHorse. Let's schedule a new meeting in RedHorse. I have one started here. Notice that when you create your activity, you can select multiple users in your RedHorse system to attend the meeting. I'm going to pick Deborah and Steph. Notice this checkbox that says Invite Contacts. This would send a meeting invite by email to contacts outside of your system. For instance, in this case, that would be to Jack. Just below that is a checkbox that says Invite Users. This will send a meeting invite by email to each user that is attending. Let's go ahead and save our activity. You can see in the status bar at the bottom here, an email is going out to each user. How does RedHorse know the email address for each user? This is done through the linking of users to contacts in the database. Let me show you. In the Administration Center in RedHorse, in the Users section, we can edit a user and see that there is a place to link the user record to a contact record. When you send a meeting invite to a user, it uses the primary email address on that contact record to send the invite. If you send out a meeting invite and a particular user doesn't get the invite, be sure to check with your administrator to see that the login has their user account connected to a contact and that the contact has an email address. Now let's go see what happens for one of the users that was invited. We're going to switch to a RedHorse logged in as the user Deborah. Let's check her calendar. Yep, the activity appears on her calendar. And it will also appear in her alarm window when her alarms refresh. Now let's check her email. She has received an email notifying her of the meeting with the date, the time, and the attendees. When we open the email from Deborah, we can double-click the attachment and respond to the meeting request. We will say, yes, she is attending. Back on the original RedHorse where we scheduled the meeting, let's check that activity. Notice that we have a button in the toolbar that says Attendee Responses. When we click that, we can see everyone who was invited to the meeting, and we can see that Deborah has responded and has accepted the invitation. By the way, while we're in this window, if we had just talked to Stephanie, as an example, and we know that she received the request, she knows it's happening, but she can't answer by email right now, we can mark her as accepted and save that here. What happens if we need to change the detail of the activity? For instance, let's say that it's been rescheduled for Monday instead of tomorrow, Let's change the date to Monday here and save this activity. Notice when we save it, we're going to be prompted, do we want to notify the attendees? We do, and we want to include user attendees. And hit OK. And you can see our emails going out to the attendees. Before we go check Deborah's email again, let's look at that activity one more time. When we go to attendee responses again, we can see there has been an updated request sent to each of the attendees. Now let's go back to Deborah again. She now will have a new email which says that the invitation has been updated. Again, I'm going to double click the attachment and I'm going to say yes, that she is able to attend. We can also see on her calendar that the appointment has automatically moved to Monday at 9 o'clock for her. And when we go back to the original RedHorse, where we scheduled this activity, we go to attendee responses. We can see that Deborah has accepted the change to this event. You can see that there are a number of ways to notify your meeting attendees, whether they are outside contacts or internal users, that there is a meeting scheduled. You don't have to worry about users missing appointments when they didn't look at their calendar or their alarms. I want to note that you can use the Invite Users option without requiring the user to respond by clicking the invite. You can use the Invite Users option to simply email the user, and they can view the activity on their calendar without having to respond to the email. If you only want to send a notice by email and don't need a response, that's a great option. But if you want to also track responses, they do need to use that attachment in the email to respond. This is a great way to track multiple attendees and be sure they know about the meeting you have scheduled. Thanks for watching.